morning, everyone. So today I want to talk about recruitment and some certain issues. And I also want to send this as a message to the President to look into it, and also the Chief of Air Staff to also look into it, some of the issues I will be speaking about. Then I also want to commend, I am nobody to commend anybody, but I want to appreciate the Chief of Air Staff for all he has been doing since he took over seat. He has been a great father to serving personnel. We hear and we see the good things that you have been doing. I also want to thank you, use this means to thank you for certain actions you do take upon seeing my videos or upon hearing about them. I also want to thank you for the increment in allocation in all NAF units. So serving personnel, airmen, airwomen, officers, senior officers, it's no doubt that the Chief of Air Staff have increased your allocation since last year. I'm aware of it, but just do not want to speak about it, waiting for the right time, and I believe this is the right time. Especially the hospital, almost 100% of whatever they receive. So anyhow, everybody receive increment of allocation for the previous of addition to what they have been receiving. So my Honorable Chief of Air Staff, I thank you for this that you've been doing. It means you have the unit at the serving personnel in heart, and you have always been saying so. So the recruitment that just recently went home is what the recruit that just passed out and the process that took place is what I want to talk about today. So my Honorable Chief of Air Staff, I don't know if you are aware that I don't have a problem with issues with all the things that have been going on. I cannot talk about too many things in this video. I want it to be as short as possible. Those days when we were going on training, we buy salala, buy provisions as service support, buy one or two things, and Gary is very important. Then after a while, the authority give us a squadron vest, new items, but there are one or two things different in this time. Almost everything, almost, not all, and some of the things, please, I will be saying here is allegedly. Almost everything was purchased by parents. How funny and how hilarious. So if everything, this is federal government workers, and this is not just ordinary federal government workers, this is military, and not just any military, the Nigerian Air Force precisely. If almost everything will be purchased by a recruit, the service cannot purchase those vital and very, very important things. For me, the only thing those personnel were to provide, or potential personnel were to provide for themselves, as service support, the first salala, which is the blue and white, the canvas and the socks, bedsheet and pillowcases, bucket that they will use. Even bucket itself, that time they did not ask us to come with bucket because bucket were issued to us. But this time around it was opposite. They bought everything, even their squadron vest self, allegedly they even purchased everything. Blanket they buy come. Why it was issued to us then? So it means that the number and the recruitment process, the number that they are recruiting is high, and as it is high, to foot up the bills is becoming too big to the Nigerian Air Force or to the armed forces. That is the reason why they are purchasing some of the things. Because if not so, because of the quantity, the number of personnel they are recruiting, how much is the thing that they cannot provide for them? Because these are serving personnel or potential serving personnel. The most shocking part is the boot that was reissued to them, which they had to pay 14,000 naira. 14,000 naira to pay for boots. that they will use to serve their father's land. But naturally, these boots were supposed to be given to them so that when they start work, they can manage one issue to them because it's not a fully standard like that. They will manage it. When they start earning their first salary, then they begin to buy things for themselves. But boots they pay for. Anklet safe, they collect and we carry our own anklet go. They collect them. Why? In my own opinion, the number are too much and they cannot foot the bills. In my own opinion, because if they can foot the bill, they will not be collecting those items. Belt, GB belt, they collect them. Blanket that they normally issue us in recruit during our time, during training. They issue us blanket. They purchased it. So it means even in this hard time, parents went through a lot to send their children for training, and even though they were going to risk their life for the country, they went through a lot to send them there. The most shocking part, my Honorable Chief of Air Staff, after training, we used to see, immediately that account they used to come to open for us in training, we used to see small change inside that they have saved so. Allegedly, this particular set of people that went on training, they made 0 naira in their account. Allegedly. Then, they used to give us transport. Some people, as I speak to you, are still in recruit camp or in Kaduna hanging around, not recruit camp, but precisely hanging around Kaduna State, pending when they get small money or the parents send them small thing to come over, allegedly. If the number of people the service is trying to carry, as much as you want to create job opportunity, there is no proper provision for them. Why recruit them? Because a lot of things will be going through those people's mind. And that is how these small Ikelebe stand for collect 1 naira, 20 naira. That is how it starts, because they too want to meet up with the standard of life. They want to meet up with boots. Do you know how much a woodland and a desert is? Forget about that 40,000 naira increment of salary. That's not increment. That's just a flat rate being given to serving personnel. After 14 years of struggling, no increment of basic salary. Please, basic salary. No increment for 14 years. Then after 14 years, they now came and increased at 40,000 naira. Salary is not why I'm here. So, my Honorable Chief of Air Staff, for the 14,000 naira that they paid for boots, that was given to Fly Lieutenant, let me see his name. Okay, the 14,000 naira that was paid to Fly Lieutenant Abdullahi A, I think it's one of the former camp commandants. I think 14,000 was paid to his account directly, allegedly. So above me, you can see the alerts with his name, Abdullahi A, which was the initial under the description. I know Nigeria now, anybody where they talk, you could say na AI, na that one. I can also provide statement of account of this account. So 14,000 naira was paid. This is the alert, you can see it above me. For shoe, boots that was issued to serving personnel, all of them paid that 14,000 naira allegedly, even though I'm putting a proof. So, to my president, I'm going somewhere with this. My Honorable President, the minimum of nothing less than 1,500 soldiers just passed out in Nigerian Air Force. Minimum, I think, or they are above, passed out. But the most important question, do we have 1,500 accommodation provided for these soldiers or newly built? If If no, which I am very, very sure it is a capital no, 1,500 accommodation was not built. So if it is not built, the lodging allowance that is only stipulated for only MW, warrant officer, squadron leader, division commander and above. Mr. President, I know that allocation for lodging allowance is always provided for the service. And my Honorable Chief, I plead with thee to expand the rank space for this lodging allowance. Don't be said I could benefit anything, but expand the rank range so that even the people you are recruiting, some people that have already served certain years from sergeant and above, let them receive this lodging allowance. Senior NCO, let them receive this lodging allowance from sergeant above. That way, some who desire to stay outside the barrack can stay in the barrack. And the reason I say sergeant above is the corporal below are the workforce of the service. Fly officer to fly lieutenant, they are the workforce of the service. Or let's exclude fly lieutenant, but because they fall under junior officers, so we can't exclude them. And since the corporal below falls under NCOs, we can't exclude them. So from pilot officer to fly lieutenant, they are the workforce of the service in the officer's cadre. And ACM to corporal is the workforce of the service. So my Honorable Chief, I beseech you to look into this lodging allowance. It will solve a lot of accommodation problem, and it will give chance for all the personnel who are being recruited. Maybe 400 where they recruit before, or 500 where they recruit before. So it will solve a lot of issues. And people that pass out, we have accommodation. They will no longer be treated like those chicken that they will pack in one room. It was recently I had 40 by 1, this by this, this by that. Well, my Honorable Chief, I beseech thee, and Mr. President, our dear loving President, as I said, keep putting eyes in the military. Let them do the right thing. Please let them open more room for lodging allowance. I know that everybody will not like me. Everybody will not like what I say. But I beg, now my opinion. And for the proof that I brought for the payment of this thing, that is the proof. And everything I've said here is allegedly. And some of them, my opinion. I beg, I come in peace. For the love of this service, for the love of this country. The armed forces is going through a lot, and they are making great sacrifices that you will not know. It will shock you during the New Year and Christmas time, because of so much involvement in the Northeast operations I have been to. If I hear knockout and it is in a bomb, I know they feel sleep, I know they're comfortable. So serving the country comes with a lot of psychological trauma that you might think is nothing, or you might not have observed until you have left the service. The knockout they were playing, bumper to bumper till dates. Every bar I could shake because I did think saying that something will happen. If I will realize that it is knockout. So all serving personnel do go through a lot. Please, my Honorable Chief of Air Staff, you are a good man. You've increased the allocation. Please extend. Use your good office. I beseech thee to use your good office to extend the lodging allowance, at least sergeant and above. But that warrant officer MW is too narrow. It makes the accommodation issue too difficult. And I know due to financial constraint, building accommodation with this economy is not really easy. But when you expand the lodging allowance, at least there will be a lot of vacancies where the personnel who have just passed out can stay. They don't need to choke themselves in one room, and the room smelling and making it uninhabitable for them. and for their own health. These are people who sacrifice their life every day for the service. But if these things are not provided, if you send them on operation, follow that Kano Jos to Kano, the soldiers there, they go drop 15 naira, 100 naira. Because then one won't go lodge, one go rent house. But if you do all these things, these people will be in the barrack. I come in peace. Shalom.